What up, though? What up, though? Yo. All right, yeah. So came on here because I wanted to go live and just talk to you guys about my overall experience from when I first had my accident back in 2018. Excuse me. I just ate. I'm at the hospital. I want this to be like a relaxed, pretty relaxed story time, guys. The light went out. Is that better lighting or worse lighting? Which I think better lighting, worse lighting. I think we can go raw without it. What's going on, y'all, man? Y'all coming in here, man, please go ahead and smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. We in here. But anyway, it's your boy Kelvin J, man. I just wanted to chat with y'all about my situation with my leg, man. I know a lot of people wonder about my leg. I've been talking about my leg for years now. It's been a hindrance and a situation in my life I've been dealing with for multiple years. Um, we're just gonna take it back, yeah. We're just gonna take it back, chill. This might be like an hour long. I don't know. We're about to just chill for a minute. Y'all wanna hear the story or not? Y'all welcome to tune, comment what y'all think, ask me questions if y'all want, and I'll try to do my best to answer. Um, so let's see. It started back before I broke my leg. I was a special deputy marshal working at the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. So where I stood. That was where I stood before. Booger in my nose. I was just gonna let me talk with a booger in my nose. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me, right? Oh, okay, cool. Just doing a quick audio test. I didn't see the bars moving at the bottom, but cool. What's going on, fellow sir? I appreciate you chiming in. So, before I had my accident, y'all, on my leg, my left leg, I was a special deputy marshal doing basically security police work at the Department of Justice in Washington D.C. Life was good, you know what I mean. Money was good. It's hard working, doing my thing. Uh, those who know me, I did 4 years in the Air Force as well. That was before I went to the Department of Justice. So 4 years in the military, Air Force. After that, a year Department of Justice. While I'm at the Department of Justice, about a year in, I decide to get a motorcycle. So I ended up getting a motorcycle, and that's where the journey began. I had a ZX10R 1000. That boy was pushing heat, man, pushing power. It's a powerful bike, beautiful bike. I started on a 1000, and I do not regret it. I love it. The Ninja Kawasaki is a beast of a bike. If you guys ride bikes, I know what I'm talking about. But yeah. So I had my bike. Things were good. About a year into the Department of Justice, I was out riding, and me and my boys were riding. We were riding together, me and two other bikers. And as we were coming off the freeway, my rear brake locked up on my back brake on my motorcycle locked up, and then I went into a full skid, and I'm roughly about 40 something miles per hour getting off the highway, coming off a highway exit, and there's like a guardrail there, right? So coming off the freeway, hit the brake, my brake locked up, I skid, and then I just hit straight into the guardrail, smashing my left leg between the motorcycle and the guardrail. For those who don't know, ZX10R is a sports bike. So I'm riding a crotch rocket sports bike. Can y'all see me? What's going on here? Internet messing up. Hold on. Chat disconnected. Please wait. Successfully connected. All right. I guess we back in, y'all. But so smashed my leg between the guardrail. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been fighting hiccups for like the past few hours. All right, yeah. Let's try to set this up. Hope I don't get no more hiccups, man. All right, yeah. So smashed my leg in between the guardrail. I went flying head forward, flying over the guardrail, landed on the ground, knocked my shoulder out of place, and broke my tibia. Tibia was shattered in 3 places. So I'm laying there. Luckily for me, there was a couple other cars or someone that was in the back who ended up seeing me crash into the guardrail and fly over. So they pulled over, thankfully, and saw me because I was on the opposite side. So if they didn't pull over and stop, they might not have seen me because you couldn't see me because I was on the other side of the guardrail. So I could have just been laid out there for hours. If no one would have came, possibly could have died. Who knows what could have happened. But luckily, they called the ambulance, everything. They came and got me, and got me to the, got me, came into me, cut my biker jacket off, and got me straightened out. My bike was all right. Had a couple dents and bruises, but my bike survived way better than my leg. My bad, yeah, my leg is like aching right now. But so where is that? So they got me in the ambulance. The dude in the ambulance was real nice. They hooked me up. I was feeling good. I told myself, I was like, hey, I'm not, this is my sign to not ride my bike, right? This is my sign that I need to sell my bike. So I was definitely planning on selling it. But definitely planning on selling it. But so we get to the hospital. Dude takes care of me. They get me in the emergency room. Then they start to prep me for surgery. So rush me into surgery. They start to perform surgery on my left tibia, which was broken 3 places. Um, and the skin was just like scraped and road rashed and busted out. Uh, but road rash, busted out, skin looking crazy. Got me in there. I woke up out of the surgery, and I think at the time my girlfriend at the time, I think I had hit her up to come. This is before I went into surgery, I think, and she came. Yeah, before I went into surgery, so she was there to support. Andrea Murray, hope you're doing okay. I appreciate you. I'm just telling my story right now from my motorcycle accident to finding God. So I'm just giving my testimony, sharing it with you all. Um, so yeah, going to surgery, came out of surgery. Um, things were well. They had this big old brace on my leg, and it was just a lot of pain for sure. Like if I just moved my leg just a little bit, the pain was just like excruciating pain, y'all. It was so bad. The pain was so painful. But let's see. Fast forward. Um, they was having complications, like closing the wound because so much skin was like shaved off of the area where my tibia had broken. So when it came time to try to close that back up, they like barely had any flesh to work with. So they would like really stretching the skin trying to sketch it, and then some of it was like busting open, and I had to go back in, and they had to like re-seal it again to like tighten it back up. Um, in the midst of this, my leg did end up getting infected. I think when I went home, I know this story's choppy, y'all. It's been like 7, 8 years, so it's not perfect, but when I went back home, since my leg was still kind of split and it was healing kind of weird, it ended up getting infected. So next thing you know, it's like got pus and stuff all in it. And this is, like I said, back in 2015, right? So we go back to the doctor and everything. They see that, they confirm that yes, it is infected. Um, they confirm that yes, it is infected, and that they wanted to, they had to flush it out, clean it out. So I guess they flushed it, cleaned it, sealed it back up again, and then everything was good. John Arnold, what up though? You're lucky you still have a leg. Oh, very, man. I'm lucky I'm alive. I could have died from my original accident. I could have definitely died from that. I could have been paralyzed from the waist down. I could have lost my whole leg. It could have been, I could have been in a wheelchair, for the rest of my life. Could have been a lot of different situations, but God is good, and I'm still here today with all my limbs intact. But so what happened next? They was got infected. They sealed it back up. They stitched it back up, flushed out the wound, got rid of all the infection, and then finally we're in the healing process, right? So fast forward, we're gonna skip a little bit. I had 4 surgeries total. It was either three or four surgeries total. The first surgery back in 2015, I had 3 or 4 surgeries on my leg, and after we got done with that, things started to heal up. Lo and behold, I was hopping back on my bike, which I actually got a video on my YouTube channel. I was back riding my bike while my leg was still non-weight bearing. Like I still couldn't even walk on my leg yet, but I was riding my bike again. And this was like 3 months post-op after the accident and everything. Um, I was able to do that. So go check that out, man. If you go to my channel, type in Kelvin J ZX10R, Kelvin J motorcycle, or Kelvin J ride motorcycle, you'll see me riding my motorcycle with my broken leg a few months after my accident. But yeah, I was planning on selling it. I was planning on selling it, but I healed up, and next thing I was riding it at that time. But I went through therapy and everything. But the biggest part that was most excruciating through my journey and my recovery process was the aftercare. When I was doing the aftercare, they had me on a PIC line, which they actually just gave me today as well. So PIC line here. It's basically a like a little thin wire that goes in your arm, goes all the way in your arm, up the shoulder, and it connects into your heart. It comes all the way over and it drops right into a big vein in your heart. And the PIC line allows them to put your IV fluids and everything directly into your arm through this thicker vein and right to your heart. So it's a thicker vein, good source, versus when they put the little PIC line right in your wrist, and like right up here. Like earlier I had it here in my wrist, but these things are like thinner and smaller, so it can't take as much push when you got like gallons of antibiotics or whatever flowing through your body. It's better to have a thicker, bigger vein that can push it through the heart. So that's why they do the PIC line, and they connect it so it goes directly into the heart. So they gave me the PIC line. They sent me on at-home antibiotics, and I had to do at-home antibiotics for some weeks, where I would take the syringe and I would connect it to my PIC line here, and I would inject it myself and put the fluid into me, right? So Let's see what's next. So anyway, I'm on my pick line. I'm doing my antibiotics. Weeks are going by, right? And one day, who was it? My mom and my ex girlfriend was over at the time, and I had took a stool softener that day, and the way the stool softener had sat on my stomach, because apparently the antibiotics were weakening the bacteria in my stomach, which was, the good bacteria, the bacteria that you need in your stomach for your stomach to work properly. The antibiotics was like countering that. So my stomach got real weak and the lining got real weak in my stomach. So when I took the stool softener, it reacted negatively to my it reacted negatively to my stomach lining, and it just started to cause this excruciating pain. This is literally the worst pain I have ever felt in my life. I don't even know how to explain it. If I was a woman and I knew what it felt like to give birth, I would probably assume that this pain was maybe like 10 times the pain level of giving birth. I don't know. But it was really, really bad. It was like a burning, fiery sensation right in the pit of my stomach, with like a sharp clawed creature just digging and scratching at the walls of my stomach, trying to bust out of my gut. And it was just nonstop. It wouldn't stop. It just kept going and going and going. We just didn't know what was going on, right? So this was like on a Friday night. So Friday night, we're trying to figure it out. My mom's trying to figure out some things that could help calm my gut and things like that. Um, and we were just dealing with that all night leading into Saturday morning. So finally, hey man, if y'all watching, man, I appreciate it. If y'all please go smash the like button. Please go hit the like button, just to help the video get into the algorithm a little bit. Um, so, where was I at? Let's see. So we got the pig line, first for the gut. So I got this pain in my gut. We finally get it calm. I'm like laying on my left side, and I finally fall asleep, and I wake up early Saturday morning. But as soon as I rolled over and the acid in my stomach moved, the same thing, it's like a chemical reaction just reacted again in my stomach, and it just started burning, and just the most excruciating pain ever coming from my stomach, right? So I told my mom, I'm like, hey, we gotta go to the hospital. Like, we got to go to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? This ain't gonna get it. So hop in the car. Mind you, the hospital I got the surgery at was an hour away from where I lived at, which was the Enova Hospital in Fairfax. Amazing hospital, by the way. I recommend it hands down. But the hospital close to me, was Waldorf Southern Maryland Hospital or something like that, and it was way more mediocre, lower budget type hospital, right? So anyway, we're driving down the highway. Um, I told my mom, my mom's driving. I was like, let's just go. We got to get there, because, mind you, I'm coming out from both ends too. So I'm throwing up, I'm vomiting, I'm coming out diarrhea, it's just vomit, rear end, stomach. It feel like it's exploding. It was just horrible, like some excruciating pain, right? So we're like, we need to get in the vehicle and try to make it a whole hour, to the next hospital without me hopefully throwing up, or number two in my Jeep, right? So as we're going, we get pulled over. A cop flags us down, pulls us over. So I tell my mom, I'm like, and my girl, I tell him like, hey, let him know, like, it's a serious situation is going on. See if he can escort us out of his jurisdiction. And he was a whack cop and was like, oh, I can't escort you further out. But so I thought that was pretty whack, because you can escort to the end of your jurisdiction at least. But anyway, he left us hanging. He was like, all he could do is we can go to the closest hospital, which is the Southern Maryland one. So anyway, we go to the Southern Maryland hospital. Go to the ER. I'm in the wheelchair. I got a leg in a big frame cast thing. I'm naked under a little nightgown thing. We rushing in the ER trying to get some help. They took a while to get me help. Like I think it was like a good 30 minutes to an hour or so went by before making it into an actual ER emergency room. And then finally, once we get in the emergency room, it took like another hour or so for them to finally get my pain under control and figure out what to do to get my pain under control because the service was just that bad. So finally, they figured out that Dilaudid, a dose of Dilaudid helped. So they gave me a Dilaudid shot into the IV, and then that ended up helping. And that definitely relaxed my gut, but it was only temporary. The Dilaudid shot only worked for like 2 hours, and then as soon as the Dilaudid shot wore off, I was back in excruciating pain, and it felt like my stomach was about to explode again, and it's just nonstop. In the midst of this, I can't talk or anything. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Just agony pain, you know. Um, so anyway, after a few hours of waiting in the ER area, finally, they get a room for me and they check me into a room and they're still trying to get my pain under control, this, that, and the other. So anyway, they got me on a regimen. They were giving me a Dilaudid, like 1 milliliter of Dilaudid, however much it was, every 4 hours. So every 4 hours they were giving me a Dilaudid dose, which was definitely helping. But like I said, it wore off within like 3 hours or so. And then that last 30 minutes to an hour, I was just in excruciating pain. Um, so this was going on from Saturday. We checked in Saturday morning. This went on up until like I think Monday, like Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm in there just in pain, back and forth, up and down pain, vomiting, rear end, back and forth, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get a hold of my pain levels. And in the midst of this, I had to deal with some horrible people that worked there, man. Like this one doctor that worked there, she was a slim. I put the race just to describe him, but she was a slim black woman, kind of taller, and we were trying to explain to her the situation that happened, and she was just acting like she knew it all. She was just hovering right over my bed, telling me like, "Oh, look, he's probably just going through withdrawal. He's just going through withdrawal." And then me and my mom and my girl, we're trying to tell her like, "No, I'm not going through withdrawal. It has nothing to do with withdrawal because I'm not withdrawing from anything. Like I'm on all my pills that they had me on. Like I'm not off schedule of anything, so I'm not going through withdrawal. The issue is that the stool softener activated with my gut because the bacteria in my gut was weak because of the antibiotics I was taking. But she acting like she knows it all. She just looking over me, and it was really messed up, y'all. She's basically was like emasculating me, making me seem like I was like some little weak, soft dude or something like that. Because I'm in here whining and whatever, because I'm in pain, and she's hovering over my bed. She's like, oh, he's just going through withdrawal. He's just got to be strong. He has to toughen up. He's just got to toughen up. Blah blah blah. And I'm just thinking in my head, she's saying this, y'all. I'm like in pain. I can't even talk back to her to counter anything that she's saying because I'm in so much pain. I couldn't even talk. So I'm in pain and I'm trying to get it out. I'm like, please, like, can you at least give me a dose of Dilaudid so I can my gut can be pain free and we can actually discuss this and I can explain to her what's going on. That wasn't happening. So she just sat there and watched me in pain while she hovered over my hospital bed telling me about how I'm just need to toughen up and I'm going through withdrawal and just need to toughen up. Crazy. So at this point, I told my mom, we're taking notes of everything because we wanted to do, open up like a lawsuit or something against this hospital because the service was just completely ridiculous. Um, so the service was completely ridiculous. So that's what that one lady said. Fast forward, excuse me. bad. Yeah, I'm running out of water. Got to get some water in here. But so um, fast forward, I get a couple other nurses who did help. It was this older lady who helped me. She got this thing called a cocktail. It was like a cocktail shot, kind of like a Pepto Bismol type of thing mixture, and that thing worked, but it was like very temporary. Come on in. I was just wondering, yeah, if I could just get some more water.
Okay, no ice, right?
Yeah, no ice, thank you.
Okay. You good on one to do? So I bring you some one to do?
Yeah, definitely. I'll take some of those. Thank you. Um, so So I had this other nurse. She was an older lady. She was real nice. Got me this cocktail thing. As soon as it hit my gut, it calmed my stomach down. And I was like, whoa. I was like, why didn't they give me this before? You know what I'm saying? Like this thing almost worked instantly, but it was real temporary. It worked. It soothed my stomach, but it didn't last as long as like the pain reliever that the Dilaudid did, or nor it didn't like cure the situation either. So we did that a few nights. This other dude, it was a gay guy, gay nurse that was working there. Shout out to him, man. He was really going out his way helping, making sure my needs were met, making sure I was all right. So like it's not until you're on your deathbed, guys, when you realize, how grateful you are for certain individuals that's helping you. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that guy to this day, and I remember that nurse to this day, the female nurse to this day, and I'm so grateful for both of them really putting their all in while I was there, dealing with some of those other employees they had there. So fast forward, one of the other doctors, she comes in with an idea. She comes in with an idea to change my pain regimen to a different pain medicine. So she's saying instead of doing the Dilaudid every 4 hours, she's like, let's try something new. I got this other thing we want to try. And I told her, I said, okay, that's great. I'm down to try the other thing you want to try. But in the midst of that, if it doesn't work, will I be able to use um, s- would I be able to go back to the Dilaudid if this new thing doesn't work, right? So she was having the attitude. She started catching the attitude, having a problem with me asking her that because I just wanted to be sure because I didn't want to switch to this new regimen and then she leaves or she clocks out or her shift change comes and then I can't get the Dilaudid anymore and I'm just suffering in pain like for hours, right? So I was just trying to clarify that with her, but in the midst of me trying to clarify that with her, she catches an attitude and storms out of the. This is a doctor, y'all. She literally stormed out of the room and just left me hanging. Like she was like, you know what, forget it. We won't do the new thing. And she didn't even reset my every 4 hour Dilaudid schedule. So she just stormed out the room and left. And we had to wait for another doctor to come to get my 4 hour Dilaudid schedule back on track and make sure all that was good. But anyway, I'm just giving you guys this piece of it so that you guys know. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Doing better?
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just on live talking on YouTube.
You do your
But so where was I? Where was I? Let's see. Let's see. Where was I at, y'all? Somebody comment. Anybody listening to the story? Where was I at? What was I talking about? Are y'all alive? Somebody give me a comment in the comment section. Let me know y'all alive. But so let's see that. We here. What up, though? Celeste 930, Epic Farming and Podcast. You okay, bro? Yeah, I'm just sharing my testimony with you all, my story from over the past 8 years. But so this, so the backstory with the everything I was dealing with the Southern Maryland hospital was pretty chaotic, and I was just going through a lot of excruciating pain with my gut. So finally, we got to a point because we wanted to leave when we got to like Monday. We were trying to leave, but they were trying to keep me there because I guess it's protocol. it doesn't look good on business if you got patients running out of the hospital, right? Or escaping from the hospital. It doesn't look good. So they were trying to figure out a way to calm things down and keep me in the hospital. Just jumped in. You've been through it. Oh yeah, it's been a long 8 years, a long a long 8 years, and it's still not done yet. The journey's still going. But man, my throat's dry. It's like the most talking I've done since I've been in the hospital. But so going through all of that, we get to points like Monday or Tuesday. We tried to leave, and they were trying to, they was trying to. Then they wanted to tend because at first we couldn't even get into. It. I had to send my ex, my girl. I had to send her through the hospital. She's like going through the hospital floors trying to find someone just to get me help. Like there's no nurse, immediate nurse right in the area or anything. Like this hospital was complete trash. This is the Southern Maryland hospital in Waldorf, Brandywine, Waldorf area. Trash. Do not go there for serious situations. But anyway, my girl, she's running through the hallways trying to find someone to help me and things like that. And finally, they come and they start tending to him when they see that I'm trying to escape and that I'm trying to yeah, SOMD hospital is not good. Yeah, Southern Maryland. Yep, that one. Yep, horrible. So finally, they convinced us to stay. They started tending to us a little bit better, and they convinced us to stay. And then we stayed a little bit longer, but then it got bad again. Like I said, I had that other doctor that came. Excuse me, y'all. Oh, oh my. God. Oh, oh, excuse me, y'all. Um, man, I'm trying not to keep belching, man. I keep burping this anger. But so anyway, it got to a point where this hospital was so trash. We ended up being there for a whole week. We checked in on Saturday at the ER, made it all the way to that next Friday, and at that time I was done with it. I was like, we got to get out of this hospital, and we got to get back to the original hospital that I had my surgery at, which was Inova Hospital in Virginia. So we came up with a plan. We said, okay, next time the nurse gives me my dose of Dilaudid. We know I got a good 3 hours or so before it wears off, and we were about 45 minutes away from Unova Hospital. So as soon as she gave me that dose of Dilaudid, we hopped out of the bed. I'm like in the nightgown, guys. I'm in the nightgown, butt naked underneath. We hopped out the bed. My leg is in a big old cast. I'm like shoving it, lifting my leg around. It's crazy. Hop in the wheelchair. We got our stuff. My mom's wheeling me out the hospital, and we're just gone. And then, like, some of the people saw us in the hallway as we're leaving because we didn't tell them we were leaving or anything. We were fed up with this place. We just got up out of there. So we get out of there, wheeled me out the doors. I hopped in the back seat of my Jeep. They laid some towels down because remember I'm vomiting and I'm diarrhea in both ends, getting crazy. So we lay the towels down, hop in the back, and we punch it. So now we're flying on the freeway over to Inova Hospital, Fairfax, Virginia. Outstanding hospital. Make it to Inova, get in Inova. As soon as we get in there, I'm running through the halls. Not running through the halls, but I'm in the wheelchair. I'm wheelchairing through the hall. You know what I'm saying? And my mom or whoever with me, and they had diagnosed me with like C. diff at the time, which is like some type of bacteria of like diarrhea type form bacteria or something. But so we're trying to figure out. I'm like literally naked, y'all, in this gown. It's not even tied up in the back. It's just flailing. You know what I'm saying? I was in so much pain. I'm just like, we got to get in here. We got to get checked in. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go before it gets bad in this ER. Luckily, Inova was such an amazing hospital. They got me in right away. Well, not right away, but it was pretty fast. Like within like 5 minutes, maybe 8-10 minutes tops. They got me into a ER room in the back. Compared to the Southern Maryland, took like a good hour or something like that before I got into an ER room, right? So I got into the ER room at Inova. As soon as I got in there, I let them know. I told them the only thing that we know that's been working so far with this pain in my stomach is is Dilaudid. So I told her I was like Dilaudid. As soon as I said it, she said, "Okay, cool." Boom. She went out immediate, went to go get a dose of Dilaudid, came back to treat my pain level. Unlike the Southern Maryland hospital, who had me suffering for like well over 2 hours before I got my first dose of Dilaudid. So Innova took care of me, got me in, boom, boom, boom. Pain management was good. Um, and and then they finally checked me into an actual room at Innova, and everything was good. They got my pain under control. They got me back on my original pain medicine regimen. Like Innova did what a hospital is supposed to do. I don't know what was going on with Southern Maryland, but just to back up on Southern Maryland, I just want you guys to really understand how impacting that situation was for me in my life, because the situation that happened in Southern Maryland caused me to have post traumatic stress disorder. So a lot of people think, you get post traumatic stress from only going to war, only going in the military, things like that. No, you can get post traumatic stress from any traumatic situation that happens in your life that causes you to basically have like a mental lapse, a mental lapse, right? And mind you, this is back before I truly knew God. I didn't truly have God at this time. So, my mind state was weak. I was very weak minded. I was strong. Don't get me wrong. I was very wise and strong at my age compared to a lot of other people in life. But overall, I wasn't there on a level of God. It was different. So 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 I just want you to understand that the pain that I went through with my gut, with the whole Southern Maryland situation, was, like I said, the worst pain I ever had. As I can describe it, I don't know, maybe 10 times worse than giving birth. I've never given birth, obviously, but I'm just guessing. It was very, very excruciating pain. So much that, like I said, it caused me to have post traumatic stress from it. There would be moments, late nights, where I would be worried, or I get scared, or fearful that that pain was going to come back. It was so frightening. It was so painful that, one turn of, like, the juices in my stomach, just one turn, it can cause it all over again, right? So I just want to press that, right? So fast forward, go through the hospital, cure up through Innova, everything's good, get back on track, and everything's great, right? Heal up from my leg heals up, go to physical therapy, everything's good, everything's going well. At that time, they had put a metal plate in my leg and 9 screws. So they put a metal plate in my leg to hold the tibia together, as well as the 9 screws, right? So um let's see. So fast forward, time goes on, done with the hospital, I'm back in the world, back living, and life is moving on. At this point, oh man, this happened years ago, guys. So bear with me. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember it all in perfect order, but at this point, life is going on. That's when I left my job as a special deputy marshal, activated my GI Bill from the military, and I started to go to college because I couldn't go back to be a cop at that moment because my leg was still, getting better. So started to go to college, went to school. Ended up doing 4 years to got my bachelor's, which I graduated in 2018. So leading up to 2018, to that 2018 mark, is where excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. So leading up to 2018, this is where I started to get to a path of getting closer towards God, right? So first, I would have to say it was um, a spark of it was definitely, I would say, Trump's presidency. I would say Trump's presidency was a little spark of it when I was seeing a lot of the hatred that Trump was getting. Trump was getting a whole lot of hate, this, that, and the other. And then that caused me to look into that. You know what I mean? To look in to see like what's going on, why everybody hating on Trump, right? So I looked into that. And then when I started to look into that, that's when I found out that a lot of the things they were saying about him were lies. And that's when I started to go down this rabbit hole, right? So I went down this rabbit hole, learning about Trump and what his values were and what he's trying to bring to the table as president, and and what the media was saying, different lies about him and everything. And along that journey, I came across different YouTubers. I came across different YouTubers who were, talking about the presidency or talking about God, And one of those YouTubers I came across was Jesse Lee Peterson. Now, I know a few of you guys who support and follow me have heard of Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you very much.
Oh, I thought it was
Thank you. So I know a lot of you guys have heard of Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, but I came across his content on the Fallen State on YouTube. That channel was interesting. It was interesting to hear some of the conversations, the talking points, and pretty much everything of that nature. So in the midst of listening to Jesse's content, heard of him, never watched his channel. Yeah, he was definitely a huge part of helping me see clearer on leading me towards God, hands down. Because one of the biggest things that Jesse talks about is forgiveness. And forgiveness is something that I didn't truly understand within my spirit and within my heart until after, hearing it from him. Like just hearing certain things Jesse would say, he would say things that I always knew, things that I knew since I was a kid, but just they weren't confirmed or they weren't affirmed. So just to hear it come from him and the way he was able to word things and say things, I was like, wow, like I know what he's talking about. Like I know exactly what he's saying. I used to think that when I was younger, this, that, and the other, right? So I started to get involved with that, and he would tell me about he would mention about forgiveness and how important it is to forgive your mother and to forgive your father and all that kind of stuff. And at the time, I didn't have the greatest relationship with my father. I didn't think that I hated him or anything, but I was older. I was just he was never really in my life like that, and a lot of false promises. So I grew up and just kind of moved past it, and I didn't really talk to him much. But listening to Jesse about how important it was to forgive the father, your earthly father, you know, I became intrigued by it, and I would listen to a lot of callers. A lot of people would call into Jesse's show, giving their testimonies about how forgiveness has helped them and how, certain things has really drastically changed their life. As soon as they forgave their parents, their lives just changed. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. All these people got this story about if you forgive your mother and your father, that one moment, guys. I'm just sharing my live feed to Facebook real quick. Right now, my bad. I apologize for the delay. Let's see if this post can't be shared. Post. My apologies. Let's see. All right. Can you guys hear me? Still good? Still good? All right. Okay, so I really started to understand forgiveness. And I said, after seeing all these people calling in and all these testimonies of how it just drastically changed their life, something as simply as just truly understanding forgiveness and going to face your parents and forgiving them. And I was like, man, like, I was like, let me try it. I said, let me try this thing. And so I called up my dad. I couldn't see him in person because it wasn't at the time I was living out of state. So it wasn't as easy to confront my dad face to face in person. But I was like, let me call him. So I called him on the phone, called him right up. And I told him, I said, Dad, I forgive you, for, all the things, anything you've done wrong in the past. I know if you could, you would have done better. You know, it just is what it is. We all have our path. You know, I forgive you for that. You know, I hold none of that against you or anything. You know, and I told him that I love him. I let him know that I love him. You know, and I did the same thing with my mother. I faced my mother, forgave her as well, and did that with both of them. And instantly, I kid you not, literally for me, instantly, like almost overnight, my mind started to change. My God started to recondition my mind to be of His instantly after I forgave my parents. I forgave my, that's another thing. I forgave my parents. I also reached out to some of my enemies, people that I had beef with from my childhood years, or anyone that I had some type of beef with. I reached out to the ones I was able to reach out to, and I forgave those people as well. And like I said, what's going on, Blind Squad? What's going on, man? I love you, bro. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man? I'm doing well. Just sharing a little bit of my testimony of my journey of finding God, and my leg injury that I've been dealing with over the past 8 years. But just sharing my story, bro. I pray all was well with you. Ooh, ooh, that acid reflux, you know what I'm saying? Mm, acid reflux will get you. Sorry, yeah, like I said, if you haven't already, please like the video. Please like the video if you haven't already. And share it. Share this video too while I'm live so other people can come in and hear a little bit of my testimony, because it may touch them or help them see something different that they need to do in their journey, because I feel like forgiveness is key. Forgiveness was the biggest missing piece for many years. I used to be an atheist for many years. I was agnostic for many years. I always kind of believed in some higher power, aliens, whatever the case may be. But no matter how many people, Christians, whoever, would try to tell me different things, none of it really clicked until forgiveness came into the picture. The forgiveness part was the part that was missing, that really was able to change my heart, and to give me clear discernment, and to be able to see things way clearer between righteousness and unrighteousness, right? So forgave them. God started to work on me immediately, instantly, and along this journey within a couple weeks to months periods. I'm just researching, I'm watching content, I'm looking at the political stuff with Trump and everything going on in the political realm with the left and the right. I'm seeing all the evilness going on within the Democrat leftist individuals. I'm seeing all the fairly righteousness going on with some of the right leaning individuals. I'm coming across people who claim to be, more true Christians versus lukewarm Christians. I never even heard of a lukewarm Christian, really before. It wasn't really something I was into. I didn't hear about that. So I'm seeing the difference of like true Christians versus people who just kind of claim to be Christians, right? And in the midst of this journey, can you guys still see me? Is it getting too dark? I can't turn the other light on. It's too far. But in the midst of this journey, my mind is just being conditioned. I went from being, having sex to, understanding why I shouldn't have sex until marriage. Beforehand I couldn't see it. My mindset was you should test drive the car. You know what I mean? You should know what you're getting yourself into, was my mindset. And I couldn't see how that was wrong until after I forgave and God started to work on my mind. I used to be pro-abortion. I would gladly drive you up there and get that abortion pill if I could. But God changed my mind on that as well, and instantly I like became anti-abortion. It was like almost overnight, from what I can recall. Instantly I could just see it as murder. Like I could just see it as murdering babies. Like it wasn't, like at first I just saw, I was like, oh, if you can't afford it, timing is right, it's just an abortion, blah blah blah. But now I see it as murder. I see it as straight up murder. There's no reason, there's no justification for abortion whatsoever, for killing an innocent baby. I'm saying some terms on here. Hopefully on YouTube don't get me on these terms, I don't know. But so it's just multiple things. No sex before marriage. Like now I'm going on 5 years of celibacy. This summer is 5 years of no sex with. If anyone knew me before, you know what I mean? Like I was definitely, getting around, and I was not a rubber man. You know what I mean? So it was no protection, getting around, not safe at all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore. And, I'm really trying to save myself for, my future wife and, for my family. But so anyway, God was just changing me and working on me and changing on me. And things are just getting better and better as time is going. And the key thing of it came from forgiveness. And in the midst of when I was able to repent for what I did wrong, and to ask God for forgiveness after, forgiving my parents. Um, where was I going with that? After I was able to forgive everyone, brain fart, guys. One moment, bear with me. I'm tired. I was really going to go to sleep but I wanted to get this video up before the sun goes down. But because it's the only light I'm kind of working with. Um, man, where was I at? So it was a guy was working on me, changing my mindset. No sex before marriage, no abortion. Um, my music started to change. I started to meet different individuals. I met Tyson James and I met Bryson Gray, who seemed to be more strong, bold type of Christians, which was something I wasn't used to being around or seeing. And just involving myself with different individuals who seemed to be more aligned in a proper path of righteousness versus the fake lukewarm Christians who claim to be Christians, but they go out in the world and just live full on in the world every day and go to church every Sunday or something. The fake ones, right? So in the midst of all this, man, when I repented and called out to God and forgave, and God can only forgive you once you've truly forgiven. You can't just go up to someone and say, "Oh, I forgive you," and then still like be feeling some type of way about what they did. Da 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 da. You have to understand why they're doing what they're doing and why you're forgiving them. You have to understand that we're all on the path. We've all fallen short. You know what I'm saying? Things happen, and you have to truly understand that and not hold that against someone else's heart and not have that hatred or anger towards them. And once you get there, once you do it, man, God just works on you. And like I said, I had that post-traumatic stress from my leg, from my accident, from all that trauma, being in that hell Southern Maryland hospital for a week. God instantly got rid of that. As soon as I forgave and I understood forgiveness and I had the love of God truly just like explode, and that flame just, you know what I'm saying? That flame just light in your chest. As soon as it happened, my mindset on it just changed. My mindset was so different, so much stronger mentally, and so much stronger mentally, and God removed that levels, that depression, that the thought of depression. Like I don't get depressed anymore or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Depression just doesn't exist when you know God. You know what I'm saying? It's just gone. It's like it's just not there. You know what I mean? The post-traumatic stress is just gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think about it. Like if I was to go into that ill situation again, I'm sure my reaction, how I would handle it, would be so much different because of the mindset and the love of God that now dwells fierily within me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can I get an amen for that one? What's going on? What's going on, Crazy Face? Hey, bro, you safe? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm doing well. Um, so just amazing, guys. Just amazing how that was able to work on me. So fast forward, guys. That was from the 2015 accident to the 2018. I forgave my parents. November of 2018 is when I faced my mother and my father and forgave them. And they started to work on. God started to work on me and work on me. And here I am now, 7, 8 years later. Well, eight when I was around 8 years because this is summertime. And what are the odds, guys? So when I first had my motorcycle accident in 2015, they told me that I may have to get the plates removed in the future. Excuse me. I had a pop roast from the hospital earlier, and it's not sitting well. But man, where was I at? We were just getting hot. Where was I at, guys? Who's listening? Is everybody paying attention? Catch me up, y'all. Where was I at in the story? Where's we at? Man. I'm trying to just do it straight through. Originally, I was gonna film this and edit it and all that, but I just want to go live, come here right with y'all one on one, and just kind of share my story with you guys. Um, Thank God you're still alive. Glory to God, man. All glory to God. You were talking about getting your plates removed in the future. Thank you, my man. Blind Squad in the building, listening, paying attention. I appreciate you, bro. So I had to get the plate removed out of my leg. So I got a metal plate in my leg and I got 9 screws in my leg. And the doctor told me back in 2015, he said, you may have to get the plates removed. Thank you, Celeste. You may have to get the plates removed if it bothers you. You know, sometimes the weather may irritate if it gets too cold. The metal plate may irritate your legs, swelling, things like that. So I was hoping, I was like, man, I hope I don't gotta get, because who wants to go back into surgery again years later to get it taken out, right? I was like, hopefully it works and I'm a robot now and I'm just good. But as you can see, I'm here and that wasn't the case, right? So, man, I feel like it's so. Oh, I wish I had more light in here, man. That's all I got for the light. But y'all. So fast forward, we're talking about getting the plate taken out, blah blah blah. And here we are, fast forward 7, 8 years later. So now, yeah, sorry about that. My cousin just called me. One moment. My man ruining my life. But yeah, so said I might have to get the place removed. Fast forward 7 months. So now, mind you, when I had this whole situation with my accident, like I said, I left my old job. I was working at the Department of Justice as a special deputy marshal, doing security police work. That was done. So I didn't have money. So I had a lot of debt. I couldn't pay my credit cards. I couldn't pay my bills or anything like that. So I had a whole lot of debt that built up from this situation. And make sure you guys still hear me, right? Pay my bills. Okay, cool. Audio's good. Um, so I still had this situation going on with debt and everything. So it was going to be a bankruptcy situation. I was planning on filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 7. Um, so that way I can get my situation good and I'll be able to go back to work, go back to my old job, right? But time ended up going by. Like I said, I went to college, time went by. Next thing you know, we were creeping up on 7 years anyway. And if you don't know, your debt falls off your record once you hit 7 years. So anything that's like account that you stop paying, as soon as it hit the 7 year mark, after 30 days, if you not paying, all that debt will completely wipe off of your record, off of your account. So I was approaching the 7 year mark, which is I think this May is just now hitting my 7 year mark. So I just hit my 7 year mark, and my finances, my debt, as far as my credit score and everything, just now started to fully repair within the past year. So it's been a long 7 years with completely crap. My credit has been crapped out for the past 7 years, right? But so here we are. What are the odds I left Maryland, came up to Michigan, and my leg got infected somehow. It's been 7 years. My leg's been good. I got the plate in my leg, but somehow 7 years later, whatever, 8 years later, the plate it's infected, and next thing you know, I got pus leaking out of my leg. Right. So, and this started October of last year. In 2022 is when my leg started to swell up, and it like burst open with pus, and it was just infected. So it's been leaking pus from October all the way till this past Friday, right? So I came up to Michigan, was in Michigan for about 3 months. Then I went down to Mexico. For I was in Mexico for how's that? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping. But I was in Mexico for about 4 months, leg just leaking pus every day, changing the bandages. And, it basically got to a point where we saw that the antibiotics, because I did go to the doctor in January and they gave me some antibiotics for it, but it got to a point where it seemed like the antibiotics wasn't stopping the infection. So the next thing would be to remove the hardware from my leg. So we ended up, um, we ended up making those steps. I came back to here in Michigan, and now we got the hardware and everything removed. I went into surgery last Friday, which would be my fifth surgery total out of the whole thing. And they were able to get the screws out. They had a little slight complication getting everything out, but at the end of it, everything turned out okay, and they was able to get it out. They did see that once they did get the plate off, they saw that the pus and infection was kind of deep onto the bone, which they were hoping wouldn't be the case. Because if you had the infection like in the bone, then that can start deteriorating the bone. Then you're talking about losing your tibia, and that's a whole nother problem. But luckily, they said it was just on the outside part, so it didn't get too deep, and they feel like it's solid, it's pretty good, and it should be still good to go. Um, Finished up the surgery on Friday, and they got me stitched up, and here I am now, good to go. And now I'm still recovering on IV antibiotics, which I just finished my last dose of IV antibiotics today through my PIC line, and they're going to be giving me oral antibiotics, some pills to try to finish it off. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much where I stand now. I got all the hardware out of my leg. Um, the infection, hopefully, if it's not gone yet, should be fully gone within the next month. And we're just taking it day by day from there on out. But to summarize this whole thing, I appreciate the ones who did stick in with this conversation. But to summarize it all, I was in a motorcycle accident. I didn't know God back then. um was in a motorcycle accident, didn't know God back then. Found in the midst of losing my wealth, I like to relate it to the book of Job, the book of Job, however you pronounce it, however you prefer to pronounce it. I like to see my life as that, because before my accident, like I said, money was good. I was able to buy whatever I want. It was a good, a comfortable lifestyle. And then I lost all that, brought me back to a humbling ground. You know what I mean? I was already humble, but this situation obviously humbled me even more. You know what I mean? Deeper than many other people who haven't gone through an experience where you're put into a situation where you're completely dependent on other people, caring for you or taking care of you, or, throwing your poop away, emptying your urinal can. You know what I'm saying? Being in a position so low where you're completely dependent on other human beings completely supporting you, and you have to be humbled and grateful and understand that position that they're in. You know what I'm saying? So, the whole journey has been a blessing. What's going on, Donnie Wiggs? Just sharing my story. I'm doing well. I pray the same for you. But so yeah, guys, um, my leg's good. I should be getting out of the hospital tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll be back walking and running, in no time. Well, I'm already walking now. I'm slow walking now. What's going on, Shalfonte Lark, man? Make sure you guys stay tuned for Shalfonte. He's got some interesting work coming in the future with his ministries, and hopefully I get to work with him as well. But stay tuned for him. This guy's going around preaching the gospel, spreading the word, and really touching souls. And he's got the energy, and he's clearly got the call for it. So check out Shafonte Lard, guys. Check him out on Instagram. Um, do you need physical therapy? Luckily, I don't. I shouldn't need physical therapy. When I had my accident originally back in 2015, I definitely needed it back then because my tibia was broke. This time, it's just taking they just took the plate out and they screwed the screws out, so that flesh on the inside of my leg and the bone where the screws was at, has to heal. The bone should heal over, a 6 month, 6 to 9 month period, whereas the flesh should be healed, within a month. um, and then hopefully I'll be good to go. But like I said, the gist of it, the gist of the whole thing, I didn't know God before accident happened. Ended up finding God and changed things for the better. And since then, like I said, forgiveness is key, repentance is key, getting to know yourself is key. You know, and once you get there, once you get to know yourself and you see who you are, you see some of the traits maybe some of your parents had, and you face your parents. You got to forgive them, forgive your parents, forgive all. Love one, love all. Hate one, hate all. You can't hate one person and love another person. You can hate the sin within a person. You can judge righteously. You can guide and try to steer them to God. But at the end of the day, you have to love all people in order for you to truly understand love, understand God's love, and to be able to share God's love. Because you can't give God's love if you don't have it yourself, right? Sure, Ponte, appreciate the love, man. Most definitely, man. Glory to God. Donnie Wiggs, I'm going through physical therapy again. I had two shoulder surgeries. Intense, intense. I wish you well with that, Donnie. Most definitely, I wish you well. Yeah, my shoulder's messed up too. My left shoulder is messed up from the military. But all in all, guys, to say this experience has humbled me so much, humbled me so much. I'm so just y'all don't even understand, man. Like I'm speechless on how to even explain the feeling of just receiving the love of God, understanding the love of God, being able to share the love of God, being able to be in your highs in life, your lows in life, and still have perfect peace. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get depressed anymore. I don't be like mad about none of that stuff, because I understand that everyone has a path, everyone's going through something. Majority of souls are lost, and they just can't help it. You know what I'm saying? They're lost just like I was lost. They're lost just like how you were lost one day. You know what I'm saying? We're all just here working, trying to figure it out. Danny Wiz, are you still in Mexico? No, it's very unfortunate with that. So I had to come back to the States to get my surgery. I could have had the surgery in Mexico, but I already had everything set up here with the veteran hospital, so I had to come back here, which was very interesting because down in Mexico, I had this nice spot that I wanted to get was $250 a month, $250 a month, 1 bedroom apartment, right like a few blocks from the beach in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, guys. If you haven't been to Mexico, go check it out. It's a steal. Cost of living is great. Glad you are on your way to recovery. I came across your content you created with you and your lovely mom back in Detroit, my hometown. What content? What content did I make with my mom? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Detroit, my hometown. Donnie Wiggs. Donnie Wiggs. I haven't watched news much lately because I'm tired of laughing at my predictions. Right. Yeah, I completely feel you on that. But yeah, man, all in all, this is my testimony. This is what a hour long video. A little long, but it might be dry in some spots. But this is my story, guys. This is my story from my accident in 2015 all the way now to 2023, and the story is still not complete yet. You know what I mean? So it's been a journey. You know what I mean? It's a journey. Dealing with my leg has definitely steered me in different directions. Certain job positions and different locations. Just different decisions that I had to make or couldn't make because of my leg. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing. God willing, now to be at a point where I have this plate out of my leg. Hopefully, it just doesn't get infected anymore, and I can hopefully begin to live my life again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 32. I'm 32 now, and this accident happened when I was like what 25. So it's been that's a big chunk of years in your life of prime. I would say 24 to 32. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I got to bounce back for, and that's what I've been bouncing back with. So I'm gonna head on out of here, you guys. I appreciate everyone who chimed in and listened to my story. Like I said, comment below, ask questions if you have any. I'll gladly follow up and comment back with you guys. And remember to get to know yourself, face your parents. Forgiveness is key. Understand forgiveness, because only when you truly forgive shall God forgive you. Love you all, and God bless.